high definition. From KGMB, this is your source for breaking news. Hawaii News Now at 6.
A tour helicopter goes down at Pearl Harbor, right next to the Visitors Center.
We heard the noise, so we heard what was two loud bangs.
They probably knew that they were crashing, like the pilot was trying to control the situation.
Bystanders dive into the murky water to grab trapped passengers.
By this time, we're all getting fuel in our eyes.
Surreal, just surreal. Still a little nervous, you know.
Tonight, we hear from a rescuer, witnesses, and the man who caught it all on his cell phone.
My name is Sean Winrick, and I shot the video of the helicopter crash at Pearl Harbor just a few minutes ago.
Plus, what went wrong? Expert analysis and live team coverage on today's tour tragedy.
Good evening. On board that Genesis Aviation tour chopper, a pilot and a family of 4. The youngest, a 15-year-old boy, is in critical condition tonight. 2 others are said to be in stable condition.
The chopper went down about 10:30 this morning. The Wisconsin visitor who took this video posted his reaction online just moments later.
As you can see behind me, it happened just past the wall. I was standing over there taking pictures, and the helicopter started coming in low and straight at me. And so I got my video camera ready and shot the video.
The chopper went into the Pearl Harbor East Lock, just about 10 feet from the edge of Contemplation Circle outside the visitor center. Crowds of people watched in disbelief. We have live team coverage tonight from Pearl Harbor.
We begin with Chris Tanaka, who spoke with that visitor who acted as a citizen journalist. Chris, he kept a cool head as that chopper came close.
Yeah, Kea, he really did. That video tells the story, but in case you need another perspective, take a look. That flotation ring right there marks the perimeter of where the helicopter went down. The man said today he was scared. Other eyewitnesses on the scene recall the chaos and the courage.
It was really just a wow. That just crashed right in front of me.
Sean Winrick had just returned to the visitor center from the memorial when the Bell Tour helicopter came down.
And all of a sudden it just fell out of the sky and crashed right in front of us.
Winrick, like so many others, was just taking pictures of the scenery. When he noticed the odd flight pattern, he switched to video, capturing the moment of impact.
We all ran over and a bunch of people jumped in the water and we tried to help the survivors.
How are you feeling? Numb. I just rode a helicopter yesterday in Kauai.
Daniel Rose saw it go down too, as well as the Good Samaritans who jumped into the murky water to help retrieve the occupants.
And the military started sending boats over. A couple boats came over. Guys came in, trying to help the guys bring the people up. And I just still in awe.
Hawaii News Now first to the scene, capturing exclusive video of people being stretchered away to the hospital. 5 were taken, 1 in critical condition. And 2 consensus opinions from everyone we spoke to on the scene today. One was it appeared the pilot intentionally pulled the helicopter up to drop it into the water as close to land as possible. And 2, the amazing courage displayed by all the Good Samaritans who dove into those murky waters to pull the people up. We're live at Pearl Harbor. Chris Tanaka, Hawaii News Now.
There was people floating in PFDs, the other passengers, and then somebody yelled, "There's still somebody inside."
That's the surfer and part-time tour guide who dove into the water, one of half a dozen Good Samaritans who helped moments after the crash. He was one of 3 men who took turns diving below the surface using a knife to free that teenaged boy who was trapped in the wreckage. Our Allison Blair joins us live at Pearl Harbor with this exclusive interview. Allison.
Bystanders right away.
Keahi, Chris Gardner told me the chopper was upside down and the water was murky. Once he found the teen, he couldn't tell if he was tangled in his own clothing or the safety harness, but whatever it was, it took several minutes to saw him free. trying to rinse aviation fuel from their eyes. Our cameras captured Chris Gardner alongside a second Good Samaritan moments after the rescue. The day started very differently for the part-time Keawe Adventures tour guide. He was waiting for his group to finish the movie before heading over to the USS Arizona Memorial.
And I heard a helicopter auto-rotate, which means the engine went out and then people running and screaming. I just ran around the back because I have credentials where I can go where you're not supposed to. And I got to the shore.
The pilot, 2 men and a woman floated to the surface, but a 16-year-old boy couldn't escape on his own.
And at this point, Brian, who's a federal police officer, myself, and then a ribby hull inflated came over one of the Navy boats, and one of those guys jumped in. Somehow we had a knife and we just took turns sawing.
He says the chopper was in about 8 feet of water. The men took turns going under, working to cut the boy free.
It was a pretty good knife. It had a serrated edge. Brian, or the Navy guy, actually probably did the last cut that freed him, because I came up for breath and then I went down and we were bringing him up. So we all 3 or 4 people got him to the shore.
Gardner says that boy was unconscious the entire time tonight. He remains hospitalized in critical condition. We're live at Pearl Harbor. Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
Allison, thanks. The helicopter that crashed was based at the Honolulu airport off Lagoon Drive. It was a Bell helicopter, model 206B. Genesis Aviation offers doors-off helicopter tours around the island of Oahu. According to its website, customers can choose to fly with the doors off or on. Aviation experts say the helicopter likely experienced a mechanical failure.
You know, it looks very much like a power failure. So the person had to come in and do what they call an auto rotate, where he comes in and through his forward speed, the helicopter pilot keeps the rotor rotating until the last minute when he touches down.
Peter Foreman says it's preferable to try to make a landing on land, but he says at least the water landing was close enough to shore to make the rescue easier.
Today's crash is the second this year involving a tour copter and the 5th since 2010. Just last month, a Blue Hawaiian helicopter landed hard on a beach 2 miles west of Honolulu. In 2014, a Sunshine helicopter made a hard landing in Wailuku. In 2013, a Paradise Helicopters chopper made a hard landing at the Hilo Airport. And in 2011, a pilot and 4 passengers were killed when a Blue Hawaiian helicopter slammed into a hillside on Molokai. Crowds of people touring Pearl Harbor saw the copter crash into the water today. Amber Moncrief snapped this photo. She says she was about to enter the theater when she heard what sounded like gunshots. Daisha Carvalho-Rice shared this picture taken from her living room window of all the emergency crews responding to the crash.
The Arizona Memorial Visitor Center closed shortly after. No word yet on whether it will open as scheduled tomorrow morning at 7.
We'll be following this story through the night. For the latest developments, stay with Hawaii News Now on air and online, and be sure to download our mobile app for breaking news alerts.
Looks like we're in for another day of brisk winds. Then an approaching front will cut them off briefly on Saturday. But according to our wind forecast, speedy westerly winds will then pick up on Sunday. And that's going to switch to the north on Monday. That front is expected to bring in some rain too. For now, though, rainfall is rather sparse, just a few minor splashes for a handful of windward neighborhoods. I'll have the weekend outlook coming up in a few minutes.
And Guy, another big story today. The surf world is in mourning. A significant loss in the passing of Brock Little, a guy you and I both looked up to.
That's right. You know, I first met Brock when he was just a young teenager, up-and-coming amateur, and he quickly skyrocketed and became one of the best big wave surfers in all of the world. Now, I'll tell you, all his friends and everybody who met Brock will tell you the best thing about Brock, not his surfing talent, but his straight-up honesty. The guy will tell you how it is, no holds barred, and I really love that about him.
And then there's this famous wave. He was a pioneer for his generation, pulling in a giant Waimea barrel at the Eddie contest in 1990 here, finishing second. But wow, what a wave. He was also among the first to surf Mavericks in California. He was in dozens of surf movies, wrote dozens of articles, was a longtime stuntman, and was known for his wicked sense of humor. Brock Little was 48. Hard to believe he's gone. We'll have much more on his passing tonight at 10 o'clock.
More news ahead tonight. BJ Penn's comeback fight on hold. because of a criminal investigation. Details from the police report, plus this.
The startling number of Hawaii teachers who quit within 5 years of stepping foot into a classroom, and the overwhelming reason why.
You're watching Hawaii News Now, your source for breaking news.
Big Island police have not received the alleged sex assault case involving former UFC champ BJ Penn. That could take weeks as the case was opened on the mainland. While the process moves forward, the Hilo natives' comeback fight, which was scheduled for April, is on hold. UFC announced the postponement in a statement. The accusations were made public when a former staff writer for Penn's website posted on Twitter that the 37-year-old sexually assaulted my Playboy model girlfriend, and I have proof. The woman reported it to police in Ohio. It's unclear when the alleged assault happened, but according to the police report we have, it was reported Tuesday at approximately 6:54 p.m. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office received a report of an assault that occurred in the state of Hawaii. This report will be referred to the Hilo, Hawaii Police Department. Messages to Penn and his camp went unanswered.
Continuing our Price Town of Paradise series, Hawaii has the lowest paid teachers in the nation when their salaries are adjusted for the cost of living here. And that leads to high turnover rates. Milaka Lincoln reports.
According to the Hawaii State Teachers Association, or HSTA, about half of all new Hawaii educators quit teaching public school within the first 5 years on the job, and many blame the high cost of living.
We're trying to make it a profession where people want to stay.
DOE officials say new teacher turnover is actually on the decline from its peak of 50% in 2004 to 37% in 2012. But they admit it's still a challenge.
Teachers do this because they care about the students and they care about their community, and they're not doing it to get rich. But we need to make sure that they feel supported in their profession, that they can have adequate funding for the supplies that they need, and that they can make a living.
Salaries for newly hired accredited teachers with a bachelor's degree start around $45,000.
In New York, with a similar cost of living, a beginning teacher there can make close to $60,000 starting. That's more than the average teacher makes here in Hawaii. And that's why we have this high teacher turnover. This is why we can't find enough teachers for our classrooms.
This takes me a little while. This is Jennifer Evans' first year teaching. She's a proud product of public school education here in Hawaii and has every intention to stay home, but says she's struggling to make ends meet like so many others.
I think if the salary reflected the effort, it would definitely make an impact and keep teachers in the classroom.
Her paychecks don't go far, but instead of saving up or paying down her student loans, Evans says she spent nearly $2,000 out of pocket on supplies for her classroom.
It's really impacting the decisions I'm making in the future. How long until I can get married? How long until I can own my own home and have my own kids to put through the Hawaii education system?
Union officials say it's students who suffer the most from a revolving door of educators.
By valuing our kids means that we make sure that every kid has a good teacher in their classroom. And if a teacher can't afford to be a teacher, then we lose too many good teachers.
According to a recent HSTA survey, nearly 40% of all public school teachers take on a side job, in some cases more than one, just to cover their living expenses. Reporting from Moanalua, Milaka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Live look outside on Aloha Tower. Not a bad sunset. It's cloudy out there, a little dreary today. Guys, forecast coming up after the break.
Recapping our top story, at least 3 of the 5 people who are in this tour chopper crash this morning remain hospitalized tonight. The worst off, a 15-year-old boy, is in critical condition. The pilot was flying with a family of 4.
Looks like the copter was going to come over the land, and looks like the pilot pulled it back over the water, dropped maybe 10 foot off shore, and it just sank like a rock.
The first thing I thought of was, I don't remember a helicopter pad there. And then he came right down and pulled up just short of the land and poof, right down.
Witnesses dove in to pull out several passengers who were trapped. An aviation expert tells us it appears the copter lost power and the pilot tried to auto-rotate to make the landing. We'll be following the story throughout the night.
To weather now, the gusty winds are holding steady, so when will the trades lighten up?
Let's go to Guy Hoggy for that.
Looks like Saturday's the day for lighter trades. We still get some windward and Malka showers. Not a whole lot of rain, but it's damp in some areas. The next chance for rain coming from that front. It's due in on Sunday. Look for a few more showers as well as some gusty west-northwest winds. Again, that's Sunday. That's when we're expecting some rain, drier conditions in and out of that. Tonight we're saying aloha to my friend Brock Little, one of the big wave pioneers back in the day and still was charging up to his last end. We say goodbye because he was a great guy and he showed everybody new ways to ride giant waves, and his effects and his his influence on surfing will no doubt last for a long, long time. Not much Brock-sized waves though. 4 to 6, he'd be turning up his nose at that. High surf advisory on the east shore, but there are waves that would get him excited. We're talking about Sunday, a big swell coming in on Monday. It's going to start on Sunday, warning level, but again, like I said, with some breezy northwesterly winds will likely make this a stormy swell. Not really all that good, but here's the better news. For the Quicksilver, for the Eddie, we could be seeing the best, biggest swell yet. Light winds accompanying this swell coming in Thursday into Friday. There's actually a 2-day window that it's possible that we could see that contest run. Huge, huge surf, but again, it's a computer model. It's still far away. There are no guarantees. Tonight, we've got the fair skies, just some passing showers out there, mainly windward and Malka. The biggest thing you'll feel, the cool temperatures and those breezy winds. Now, those breezy winds will hang around for Aloha Friday. There's a chance for some windward and Malka showers. Leeward sides will be mostly dry. High temperatures, not so high, maybe 80, 82. But we are in for another round of very cold temperatures. After that front moves through on Sunday and Monday, northerly winds move in, and look at those overnight temperatures dropping down into the low 60s, maybe the upper 50s for some areas. But if you're worried about the weekend, well, pretty dry on Saturday and then cloudy and damp on Sunday. Time for a break. When we come back, sports.
Aloha, my name is Caitlin Miyashiro, and I am proud to be a Teach for America Hawaii teacher at Waianae High School. Although I was privileged to graduate from a private school, becoming a young single mom really opened my eyes to public assistance and stereotypes. My son and I were labeled at risk, and the way others interacted with me had changed. But many young people in Hawaii face hardships even more challenging than mine. Poverty, teacher shortages, and a lack of campus resources often mean students in Hawaii lose the opportunity for an excellent education. I joined Teach for America to make a difference with at-risk keiki. Teach for America recruits college graduates and professionals to teach at least 2 years in our underserved schools and to advocate for educational equity. Thanks to Teach for America, I am a full-time licensed teacher. I've grown as a person and leader because I'm constantly surrounded by amazing teachers, parents, and students who teach me as much as I'd like to teach my students. I'm giving back by preparing our kids to become the next leaders of Hawaii. You can join me as part of a movement that believes in the potential of all keiki. Apply to Teach for America or refer a promising leader. Visit hawaii.teachforamerica.org to learn more. Mahalo.